I've been. All the places and spaces I've been. All the places and spaces I've been. All the places and spaces I've been.
What's up, family? This is DJTen, and welcome to What's Hot at the 10 Spot, that place on your radio dial where funky jazz fusion meets R&B, hip-hop, neo-soul, and old-school funk. Only on the radioactive 1 WBOB, and in that city known as the birthplace of professional football, Canton, Ohio, on the new WINW 1520 AM, the Joy station. You know, family, it's been just over a month since Ohio Governor Mike DeWine locked down Ohio with his stay-at-home order, and on Monday of this week he extended that until May the 1st. And I've never been a huge Mike DeWine fan, but I have to give him credit for not allowing COVID-19 to get out of hand here in Ohio, at least for now. His ultra-conservative politics are way too close to being Trump-topian for my taste, but what he has shown is that thoughtful intelligence and empathetic leadership in a time of crisis is far more effective than what we're seeing coming out of D.C. right now. Obviously, we're not out of the woods yet, but he's done a good job, at least in my opinion. And it's encouraging to see that there are still politicians out there who put their constituents before their political views. If you notice that tonight's show has a little funkier old school flavor, that's because that was the plan. If you're at home binging on our neighborhood grown folks party, we just wanted to provide a little more variety to help you keep your groove on while you're on lockdown. Joining us tonight for this week's Party with a Purpose, we've got some brand new jams by Skinny-Hightower, Camaro Soul, Solex, Boney-James, Vibes Alive, and Kevin Ross. We're going to take this old school party to a whole nother level with a little Sheila E., The Temptations, After 7, Parliament, and some newly released cuts by funk master Rick James and His Royal Highness Prince, while we count down what's hot and popping on this week's playlist. Opening tonight's Let's Get Your Groove On installment of What's Hot at the 10 Spot is a saxophonist whose love for music became apparent when he started playing the piano by ear at age 3. Born in Grand Rapids, Michigan, he's a graduate of Western Michigan University with a bachelor's degree in jazz studies and a master's degree in saxophonist performance. From his new single and the number 10 cut on this week's Hot List, this is Tommy Prolix and Upturn.
keep our soul together. Every day you're giving me the real thing. Ooh, yeah. Every day, in every way, my joy is growing wider. Every day, I'm glad to say this love is taking over. Every day, we find a way, keep our soul together. Every day, you're giving me good everything. Every way, my joy is growing wider, baby. Every day, I'm glad to say this love is taking over. Every day, we found a way, keep heart and soul together. Every day, you're giving me the real thing. In every way, you're giving me the real thing. I'm glad to say, got to give it me. Every day, we found a way, got to give it me. Got to give it me every day, in every way.
Ain't no party like a grown folks party, and a grown folks party just don't stop. FYI, family, remember, if you haven't heard it before, you heard it first right here on Radioactive 1 WBOB. Taking us out of the set with their new single and the number 9 cut on this week's Hot List, that was Camara Soul and Every Day. The number 8 cut from this week's Hot List comes from a band who took their name from a French motor scooter that's not much more than a bicycle with a gasoline engine, but their music rides more like a European luxury automobile. From their latest project, Smooth Ride, this is Solex and Summer Drive.
give you the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountains. I'll give you the world and all that you wish for, and even more. Girl, I'll love you more than you could know, and that's for sure. I climbed the highest hill, crossed the widest sea. Nothing could discourage me, and I pray that you'll be always there for me, forevermore. Oh, ready or not, I'll give you everything and more.
four-time Grammy-nominated saxophonist with 16 hit albums to his illustrious career, and his 17th, I'm certain, will be another surefire hit. With the title cut from his latest project, released just a few days ago, and the number 7 cut on my hot list this week, that was boney-james and Solid. I'd like to take a moment to welcome some new folks to our global neighborhood from Norfolk, Virginia, and Tamworth in the UK. I have a dear friend from the United Kingdom who now lives here in the States, and she says that the best sausages she's ever eaten had come from Tamworth. So again, we'd like to welcome you guys to our block. And an extra special shout out to the folks back in Indy. You guys now make up almost 20% of our listening audience, and we really do appreciate it. And we want you to know that we might be coming to you from the heart of the 330, but our home is and always will be in the 317. We'd love to connect with you guys in person, so be sure to hit us up on Facebook or Twitter, or visit our website, Radioactive 1 WBOB. And in this age of fake news, alternative facts, and damn lies, while you're in the neighborhood, you can check out our daily newspaper On the Corner and our blog, Back on the Block, for real news and conversation just for us grown folks. You're listening to What's Hot at the 10 Spot on Radioactive 1 WBOB on the internet and the new WINW 1520 on your AM radio dial, where we play more of what you listen to the radio for. I'm DJTen, and we'll be back with more music and conversation for grown folks after these messages.
This is jazz for a new generation. Check out Next Level from music industry veteran, composer, multi-instrumentalist Herb Partlow. This jam is a vibey urban jazz fusion concoction to take you to the next stratosphere. Get Next Level now in the smoothjazz.com listening loft, and get more at superbmusic.com.
The world's premier jazz funk harpist, Maria Antoinette, celebrates the release of her highly anticipated album, All My Strings, featuring her chart-topping smooth jazz hit, Overture. From Jazz in Pink to Neo at the BET Awards, and privately for Michelle and Barack Obama, the award-winning Maria Antoinette is known around the world for her passionate performances. Fresh, relevant, creative. Find All My Strings in the listening loft and meet the artist at mariaantoinette.com.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Family, if you're enjoying the show, tonight's complete playlist is available for download without commercial interruption on our website. Just log on to Radioactive 1 WBOB and click onto the What's Hot This Week tab. The band opening this next set is a collection of some of the greatest frontmen and studio musicians in the record business, featuring Dick Richter, Jeff Lober, Louis Conti, Jimmy Haslip, John Pena, Carlos Vega, and many, many others. From their new LP, Vibrosonic, with the number 6 cut on this week's hot list, this is Vibes Alive and Sweet Vibes.
Sweet talking about real talking about swapping, 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 swapping. Hey, gotta say it again. I gotta say it again. If you live in a glass house.
He's a world-class keyboard player and pianist who's recorded and toured with some of the greatest artists of our time. From his latest project and the number 5 cut on my hot list this week, that was David Garfield and Sweetness. Since graduating from Boston's prestigious Berklee College of Music with a degree in songwriting, the vocalist opening this next set went straight to work writing music for A-list R&B stars like Jamie Foxx, Usher, and Akon before he turned 25 years of age. But you'd have to wonder if he wasn't saving some of his best music for himself after being named Best New R&B Artist by AOL Music, prompting many critics to compare him to R&B icon Stevie Wonder. With the cover of John Mayer's 206 pop classic and my number 4 cut this week, this is Kevin Ross and Waiting on the World to Change.
Misunderstood. They say we stand for nothing. There's no way that we ever could. Everything's gone wrong in a world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it. That's why we're waiting on the world to change. We'll keep on waiting on the world to change. Hard to beat the system when you're standing at a distance. So we keep waiting on the world to change. Now if we had the power to bring our neighbors home from war, they would've never missed a Christmas. No more ribbons on their door. When you trust the television, what you get is what you got. When they own the information, no, they can bend it all they want. That's why we're waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting on the world to change. It's not that we don't care, we just know that the fight ain't fair. So we keep on waiting on the world to change. That's why we're waiting on the world to change, on the world to change, waiting on the world to change.
Touching gently,
matter where you go or where you been, just can't seem to find your grin. Or do you ever feel like a small little fish in a big ocean full of sharks that only want to tear you apart? Or do you wish you were a little bit taller, wish you were a baller, wish you could ride a composition like Mahler? But let me tell you something, life ain't always fair. You can win the lottery the next day, get attacked by a bear. So beware and have fun while you're at it. Shibba-dibba-dibba-dibba.
Taking us out of that set, we heard from Phil Lassiter and Strut. Again, we put our commentary on pause for a minute while we try to help you get through the lockdown with more music and less politics. But that doesn't mean we're going to pause from why we started this journey in the first place. And that is to inform, entertain, and to raise your level of consciousness. Up next is a conscious-raising piece by a political activist and journalist who was convicted of murder and sentenced to death in 1982 for the 1991 murder of a Philadelphia police officer. He became widely known on death row for his writings and commentary on the criminal justice system here in the United States. After numerous appeals, his death penalty sentence was overturned by a federal court, and in 2011, he was given a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. From his LP All Things Censored Volume 1, this is Mumia Abu-Jamal and A Rap Thing. You remind me of my Jeep, I wanna wax you, baby, remind me of my You remind me of my Jeep, I wanna wax you, baby, remind me of my bank account, I wanna spin you, babe.
That's from You Remind Me of Something by R. Kelly. The song is smooth, with a funky bottom and a sexy lead vocalist. Why does it grit my teeth every time I hear it? Well, it's not because I'm, as one of my sons put it, an old man who just can't interpret the young whippersnappers. That said, I must admit I'm more at home with R&B, with the soft significance of an Anita Baker or even Brownstone, singers like Sade and, yes y'all, Whitney. I also enjoy much of rap for its vitality, its rawness, its irreverence, and its creativity. Rap is an authentic descendant of a people with ancient African oral traditions, from griots who sang praise songs to their kings, to bluesmen who transmuted their pain into art. For a generation born into America's chilling waters of discontent, into the 1970s and 80s, into periods of denial, cutbacks, and emergent white supremacy, one must understand how love songs sound false and discordant, out of tune with their gritty survivalist realities. When their mothers and fathers were teenagers, Curtis Mayfield sang, "We're winners, and never let anybody say that you can't make it, 'cause some people's mind is in your way. We're moving on up." Earth, Wind and Fire, in exquisite harmony, "Keep Your Head to the Sky," and Bob Marley and the Wailers thundered over rolling bass line, "Get up, stand up for your rights." The hip-hop generation came into consciousness on Tina Turner's "What's Love Got to Do With It?" or an egocentric mix that glorified materialism, like Run DMC's "My Adidas" about a pair of sneakers, or Houdini's "Friends, How No One Can Be Trusted." Their parents grew up in the midst of hope and black liberation's consciousness. The youth grew up in a milieu of dog-eat-dogism, of America's retreat from its promises, of Reaganism and white right-wing resurgence. In that sense, rap's harshness merely reflects a harsher reality of lives lived amidst broken promises. How could it be otherwise? At its heart, though, rap is a multi-billion-dollar business permeating America's commercial culture and influencing millions of minds. It is that all-American corporationism that transforms rap's grittiness into the gutter of materialism. A woman, a living being, reminds a man of a thing, a car. That, to me, is more perverse than the much criticized bitches and hoes comments. This is especially objectionable when one notes that in America, in the last century, in the eyes of the law, blacks were property, chattel, things like wagons owned by whites. That a black man, some 3 generations later, could sing that a black woman, his God-given mate, his female self, could remind me of my Jeep amazes me. This isn't, nor could it be, a condemnation of rap. The late Tupac Shakur's "Dear Mama" and "Keep Your Head Up" are shining examples of artistic expressions of loving oneness with one's family and people. Creative, moving, loving, funky, angry, and real are that late young man's works, as is a fair amount of the genre. Like any art form in America, it is also a business with the influences of the marketplace impacting upon its production. The more conscious its artists, the more conscious the art. Keep your head up. From Death Row, this is Mumia Abu Jamal.
Coming to you from the heart of the 330, you're listening to Radioactive 1, WBOB, the most unique listening experience on the internet. News, conversation, and music for grown folks.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Social distancing slows the spread of coronavirus, so stay a minimum of 6 feet away from others and stay home if you can. More info at coronavirus.gov. Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
And now for something new and exciting. Check out Keith McKelley's handcrafted new recording, Liquid Smoke. He's shared the stage and studio with some of the finest artists in the world, and several are here on this album, including Harvey Mason, Adam Hawley, and Bob James. If you like Gerald Albright, Kirk Whalum, and David Sanborn, you'll love this artist. Find Liquid Smoke in the Listening Loft and at keithmckellymusic.com.
Ain't no party like an old school party, and it ain't an old school party without the Super Freak opening this funky old school set. From an LP re-released just a few weeks ago, Rick James Forever, this is Rick James and Just Got Played.
You're not gonna keep me on a leash like a dog teach me to behave. You see, I got a lot of things to do, even though now I'm really down and my pockets ain't really fat, and I'm standing on shaky ground. And if you're in it for a booty call and you want me just to be a freak, then you gotta kick me down some cash. Then I hit it every day of the week. But if you're looking to get serious and you want me just to move on in, then you better keep it really real, or you're gonna see the games begin. Yes, y'all. I never wanted you. I never wanted you, baby. I just wanted all of your cash. I never needed you. I never needed you, baby, but you had to have a piece of my ass. You wanted to play. Well, you just got played. I really wanna be with you, but I think you better understand that I'll only be around a while, cause I got to get it while I can. And you know a player's gonna play in a world that is really cold, so I got to get it while I can. Get a grip before I get too old. I know you're looking for another man, or a nigga who will bring you joy, give you money anytime you want, be your sucker or your little toy. But my mama didn't raise no fool, so why you wanna try to be slick? Cause I'm never gonna be a slave, and I'm never gonna be a trick. No shot. I never wanted you. I never wanted you, baby. I just wanted all of your cash. Never needed you. I never needed you, baby, but you had to have a piece of my ass. You wanted to play, yeah. So you just got played. But you had to have a piece of my ass. You wanted to play, yeah. So you just got played. Just got played by a player. Survival in the jungle is a hell of a thing, especially when beast meets beast under the neon lights, and both animals are looking for the same thing. But who will be caught, bought, and maybe sold if the price is right and the deal is tight? I'm an animal on my father's side, right? I never wanted you. I never wanted you, baby. I just wanted all of your cash. I never needed you. I never needed
She's got big thoughts, big dreams, and a big promise waiting today. What about this girl? She really wants to be in love with a man. She wants to lead a glamorous life. She don't need a man's touch. She wants to lead a glamorous life without love. It ain't much.
I know you will. Damn, sucker. Shine the spotlight on me. Oh, funk me. Damn, Snow. Don't you know you out on Front Street? Funk me. Down, down. Dancing. No, no, no.
number 3 cut on this week's Hot List. That was Skinny-Hightower from his new CD Blue Moon and Bittersweet. Folks, that entire album is hot, and I guarantee you just might find a permanent spot on my playlist for the foreseeable future. You'll be getting your groove on with tonight's show. You need to join us daily on Live 365. That's Radioactive 1 on Live 365, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Music, news, and conversation just for us grown folks. You know, like the cut we played earlier that was posthumously released this year by Rick James, it only goes to show that good music and great musicians never die. We just find different ways to enjoy their genius. The artist taking the number 2 spot on this week's Hot List is just such a musical genius. From a concert recording that was remastered and released just a few days ago, live at the Aladdin, Las Vegas, this is Prince and Strange Relationship.
Welcome to NPG Radio. Taking over, y'all. Everybody on your feet. Recognize. Guess you know me well. I don't like winter. Seem to get a kick out of doing you cold. Yeah. Girl, what the hell? You're always surrender, girl. What's this strange relationship do we hold on to? Honey, I just can't stand to see you happy. More than that, I hate to see you sad. But even if I just might do something right. What's this strange relationship, You came, you took my love, you took my body. Took all self-respect I ever had, sugar. Took me for a ride, yo, baby, I'm sorry, yeah. Didn't like the way you were, so I had to make you mad. Can't stand if these ladies do you happy. More than that, I hate to see you sad, yeah, it's all right. Ship, Las Vegas. How's that, Jay? What's this strange do you know? I bet you wish this was some old movie, yeah. Then you could rewrite my every line, sugar. I trick on the blame, you baby, I'm sorry. I didn't like the way you were, so I had to make you mad. I can't stand it. Sugar makes your name, I see you happy. More than that, I hate to see you sad. You let me hide. You let me hide. Can you feel it, PG? NPG on your radio, just jam. Jam. One word, y'all. Say jam. Say it. On the bass, Miss Rhonda. Say it. Say it like you mean it, y'all. You hear that, Rhonda? Girl, can you step on something? Oh, step on it. One word, y'all. Come on, say it. Hold on, Ron, too much. On the one.
Ladies and gents, turn up your sound system to the sound of Carlos Santana in the GMB, Ghetto and Blues from the refugee camp.
Maria, Maria, she remind me of a West Side Story.
Yo, Maria.
Growing up in Spanish Harlem, she living a life just like a movie star. Maria, Maria, she fell in love in East LA to the sound of the guitar, yeah. Played by Carlos Santana. Stop the looting, stop the shooting, pickpocketing on the corner. As the rich is getting richer, the poor is getting poorer. See me and Maria on the corner, thinking of ways to make it better. In my mailbox, there's an eviction letter. Somebody just to see you leave us.
East Coast,
Maria,
West Coast.
Maria, she remind me of a West Side Story. Growing up in Spanish Harlem, she living the life just like a movie star. Maria, Maria, she fell in love in East LA. I said it 2000 the guitar, yeah. Played by Carlos Santana.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
I said I'm not the fella, no floaters. The streets are getting hotter. There is no water to put out the fire. Me contar esperanza. See me and Maria on the corner, looking at ways to make it better. Then I look up in the sky, hoping the days of paradise.
North side, south side.
Maria, you know you're my lover. When the wind blows, I can feel you through the weather. And even when we are apart, it still feels like we're together. Maria, yeah. She remind me of a West Side Story. Of growing up in Spanish Harlem. She living the life just like a movie star.
Put 'em up, y'all. Carlos Santana with the refugee camp. Wyclef, Jerry Wonder, Mr. Santana, GMB. Yo, Carlos, man, you making that guitar cry. Put 'em up, y'all. Put 'em up, y'all. Put 'em up for Carlos Santana in the house tonight. Yeah, I know you're feeling this. At last, back to some real music again. Would you put your hands together for Carlos Santana and product from the refugee camp? Uno, dos, tres. Good job. Woodstock.
family, last week we talked about some of the things that folks were doing on social media to pass the time while we're on lockdown. And one of the things that was circulating out there, were posts asking you to list the artists who most influenced your musical taste back in the day. Family, if I had to list the musicians that I listened to growing up, number one would most definitely be Earth, Wind & Fire, with the artist closing out that set running a close second. Like I need to tell you who that was, but I will anyway. That was Carlos Santana and Maria. Again, family, if you're in the Stark County, Ohio area, you can hear us on local AM station WINW 1520. You can also check us out on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play, and many other popular podcast platforms. Before we close out tonight's show, family, since we're already on lockdown, at least for a little while longer, I'd like to invite you to check out our weekly lineup, starting with the Morning Mix, which airs Monday through Friday from 8 to 12, followed by America's #1 progressive talk show, The Tom Hartman Show, from 12 to 3. And then while you're in the neighborhood, you might as well just hang around for It's an R&B Kind of Afternoon from 3 to 7, and later chill out with Jazz at the corner of 10th and J Street, which airs Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to midnight. Coming to you from our underground studio in the heart of the 330, I'm DJTen, and you're listening to What's Hot at the 10 Spot on Radioactive 1 WBOB, your place in cyberspace for the most unique listening experience on the internet. And for our terrestrial listeners, WINW 1520 AM, the Joy Station, in that Hall of Fame city, Canton, Ohio, where we play more of what you listen to the radio for. Don't you dare go nowhere, because we'll be back to unveil tonight's #1 cut on my hot list after these messages.
The lifestyle is vibrant in J-Funk City. The exciting new album from star-blazing saxophonist Jerez. Featuring special guests Reagan Whiteside, Willie Bradley, Gerald Albright on bass, and Julian Vaughn. Fresh, funky, classy. J-Funk City is the place to be. Find it in the smoothjazz.com listening loft and at jerezmusic.com.
Social distancing slows the spread of coronavirus, so stay a minimum of 6 feet away from others and stay home if you can. More info at coronavirus.gov. Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
4 #1 smooth jazz hits to date. Vocalist Lindsay Webster returns with her third release on Shawnee Entertainment, A Woman Like Me.
If you leave, stay a little longer. If you leave, I just want to follow.
Compelling, alluring, profound contemporary jazz, featuring 11 new songs and a show-stopping solo with Nathan East. A Woman Like Me is a must-have collection by one of the most inspiring young musicians of our time. Find it now in the smoothjazz.com listening loft and at lindsaywebstermusic.com.
Hey, I can't wait to get close to you.
We debuted this album last week, and like I said with the Skinny-Hightower jam earlier, the same can be said about this album and it having a permanent spot on my hit list. It's currently number 18 on the smoothjazz.com Top 100 chart, and based on what I've heard, ain't nothing smooth about it. From his latest Smoking Project 20, with the #1 cut on this week's hit list featuring Ray Parker Jr., this is Brian-Culbertson and The Hangout. listening to What's Hot at the 10 Spot right here on Radioactive 1 WBOB on the internet and on the new WINW 1520 on your AM radio dial, where there's a method to our madness and a message in our music. Family, as we're kind of sort of limping into what we're hoping could be the downside of this global pandemic that has killed hundreds of thousands around the world and sent our economy into a downward tailspin, there has been some talk about there being a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, many of the governors around the country have been working together to slow walk opening back up their states, with our governor, Mike DeWine, looking to remove his stay-at-home order in just a few days. You know, there is no doubt that we need to get as close to getting back to some sense of normalcy as quickly as possible. But whatever we do, we need to do it in such a way that it doesn't, in the process, sacrifice too many more lives. Because the last thing we need is for that light at the end of the tunnel to be an oncoming freight train. I'm DJTen, and you be safe, and we'll see you next week.